The meeting invite has no agenda, just one word: meeting. That's how you know. Cooper Craig's stomach clenches into a fist. He joins the video call, and the grid of faces tells him everything before a single word is spoken. He hears the corporate buzzword, restructuring, and it's a gut punch. After 5 years as a product manager at American Express, his world just ended. He's been laid off. This isn't another video with a list of side hustles. This is about what happens in the moments after the gut punch. You're about to meet 3 people who were backed into a corner by life and used AI to build something real, something that mattered. And I promise you, none of them started as expert coders. Later, I'll even walk you through the expensive, embarrassing mistake I made that cost me $250 so you can leapfrog right over it. That night, staring at the blue light of his laptop, Cooper could have done what everyone else does: polish the resume, update LinkedIn, start the soul-crushing scroll through job postings. And he did, but then something else happened. He opened a blank document, and instead of listing his job titles, his accomplishments, his corporate past, he typed one single question: what problems do I already know how to solve? He didn't have a grand vision. He wasn't trying to become a founder. His path into the corporate world wasn't even straight. It started with handling customer service calls at a bizarre e-commerce company that rented kilts for weddings. But in that job, and every job after, he learned how to listen, not just to what customers were saying, but to the frustration behind their words. He learned how to find the smallest, simplest version of a fix, test it, and build on it. He learned product thinking. And in the quiet of his apartment, he realized that skill was the only thing that hadn't been taken from him. Have you ever felt like your most valuable skills were the ones that weren't on your official resume? The things you're just naturally good at? Let me know in the comments what that hidden skill is for you. That single question led him to found Smartify AI, an AI consulting and automation agency. He wasn't building the AI models himself. He wasn't some tech genius in a hoodie. He was using his old corporate skills to solve the expensive, infuriatingly manual problems he saw inside every big company. He'd walk into a meeting with a sales team and see them drowning in paperwork, about to hire 3 new people just to handle discovery calls and write proposals. And he would design an AI-driven workflow that did the work of those 3 people overnight for a fraction of the cost. He was weaponizing his empathy, the exact skill that made him a good product manager, to build his own company. That workflow wasn't magic, it was just smart. First, an AI would listen in on the sales call, transcribing everything in real time. Then, a second AI would analyze that transcript, identifying the client's key pain points, their budget, and their decision-making criteria. It would then automatically populate a proposal template with that information, draft a personalized opening, and even schedule the follow-up in the CRM. The salesperson just had to review and hit send. He took a process that took 10 hours of manual work and compressed it into 10 minutes of human oversight. That's not a feature. It's a miracle for a stressed-out sales team. His breakthrough wasn't a line of code. It was the realization that his professional skills, scoping projects, validating ideas, understanding a client's deepest pain, were the real asset. The AI was just the newest, most powerful tool in his toolbox. And it worked. That business, born from the desperation of a layoff notice, grew into a thriving agency, bringing in over $30,000 a month. He turned the worst day of his professional life into a launchpad, making more on his own terms than he ever did with the false security of a corporate job. And he's not an anomaly. Recent data shows over 38% of product managers are exploring founder paths, many turning a layoff into the beginning of a new venture. They're figuring out how to make money with AI by applying the skills they already have. Cooper's story proves that your corporate background isn't a liability, it's a strategic advantage. But what if your skills aren't in systems and products? What if your superpower is people? What if you're a master of culture, of communication? Monk In Young was an executive. He'd spent 10 years climbing the ladder of corporate strategy, and he'd made it. He was the chief of staff for the Michelob Ultra brand at Anheuser-Busch. His world was $100 million brand partnerships, global marketing campaigns, shaping culture. His skills were people skills. And then, in the fallout of the Bud Light controversy, he was laid off. In an instant, the identity, the ambition, the status that came with a title like that, it was all gone. He was just a guy in a room trying to figure out what was next. He did what you're supposed to do. He put out a shingle as a generic marketing consultant, but it felt hollow. It felt wrong. In his own words, it was like pushing a stone uphill in a system that was never built for his kind of creativity. He was wrestling with a terrifying question. If I'm not my job title, who am I? It's a question a lot of people are facing. Let me know in the comments, team corporate title or team personal brand. Which one do you think is more important for building a career today? Then he found himself in a workshop standing in front of a group of fashion designers. He started talking about AI and he saw it happen immediately. Fear. Their eyes glazed over. He could feel the walls going up. They were shutting down. This was his almost quit moment, not just on the workshop, but on his entire new direction. He was losing the room, and he knew it. On pure instinct, he stopped. He threw out his entire script. He stopped talking about tools, about prompts, about technology, and he started talking about confidence. He looked at these brilliant, creative people, and he reframed the entire conversation. He described the AI not as a piece of software, but as a person. He said, "Imagine you could hire a highly competent intern, someone who never sleeps, never complains, and can research any market, write any social media post, or brainstorm any collection name instantly. And how much does it cost to hire this tireless, brilliant intern? $20 a month for a ChatGPT Plus subscription, the cost of a Netflix plan." That's a powerful way to frame it. What's the best analogy you've heard for explaining AI to someone who's intimidated by it? Share it below. Let's build a resource together in the comments. A light went on in that room. It was almost audible. And in that same moment, a light went on for Monk. He realized his business wasn't about teaching people how to use tools. It was about translating their fear into fluency. His superpower wasn't technical, it was empathy. It was communication. The very soft skills that the tech world dismisses were his entire business model. He realized his ability to connect with people and build their confidence was the product. The AI was just the delivery mechanism. That single insight flipped his path from struggling marketing consultant to AI for the culture. He co-founded First Street Partnerships, a firm dedicated to making AI practical and culturally relevant, especially for Black and Brown communities. His firm now advises major brands on cultural strategy with projects that bring in more in a single quarter than his entire old corporate salary. He's now a CEO, an executive coach, a best-selling author, and the president of his local board of education. For example, he worked with a major nonprofit that was struggling to connect with younger donors. Instead of just running another focus group, Monk's team used AI to analyze thousands of public social media posts, comments, and videos from Gen Z activists. The AI didn't just summarize topics. It identified the specific language, the emotional drivers, and the cultural symbols that resonated most. Armed with that insight, the nonprofit completely changed their messaging and saw a 40% increase in engagement from their target demographic in just 2 months. That's the power of using AI to amplify human understanding. He found a more meaningful, more successful path, not by becoming more technical, but by becoming profoundly more human. His journey proves that if you're trying to figure out how to make money with AI, your ability to understand people is the most valuable asset you have. Monk found success by focusing on the human side, and that's the exact lesson I had to learn the hard way. Because before I found these stories, I tried to make money with AI myself, and I failed spectacularly. I got caught up in the hype, just like everyone else. I saw the viral experiments, like the story of Jackson Greathouse Fall. You might have seen it. It was called Hustle GPT. He gave ChatGPT a budget of $100 and a single prompt. Act as an entrepreneurial AI and make as much money as possible. He'd be the human liaison, executing its every command. The AI told him to build an affiliate marketing website called Green Gadget Guru. The story exploded on Twitter. He raised money from the hype alone. But the business itself? It was a ghost. The website was full of placeholder text and identical product categories. The revenue claims were questionable, and then the updates just stopped. The website's now a dead link. The experiment was a cautionary tale. AI can generate a business plan, a name, and even the content. But it can't generate genuine product market fit. It can't replace the messy human act of solving a real problem for a real person. The venture failed because it was built on a cool trick, not on helping anyone. And that brings me to my $250 mistake. After seeing stories like that, I thought I could do it too. I asked an AI to generate a business idea. It suggested selling AI-generated art prints for niche hobbies. It even suggested the niche, famous philosophers as modern-day skateboarders. I thought it was hilarious. So I spent $60 on a Midjourney Pro plan to create images of Socrates doing a kickflip, $20 on ChatGPT Plus to write witty product descriptions, $15 on a domain name, freeloskate.com. And then I burned through $155 on social media ads, targeting people who listed both skateboarding and philosophy as interests. I built a beautiful website. I watched the ad analytics, I saw the clicks, and I waited for the sales. The result? 0 sales, a perfect zero. $250 gone. Not a single person on earth wanted a poster of Plato on a half pipe. That failure was the best tuition I ever paid, because it taught me the single most important lesson in this entire space. It's the same reason 95% of corporate AI pilot programs fail to deliver a profit. It's why 42% of organizations abandoned their AI initiatives last year. They all make the same fatal mistake. They start by asking, "What's a cool thing I can do with this technology?" That's the wrong question. It's a question that leads to empty websites and wasted ad spend. It's the difference between a vitamin and a painkiller. My skateboarding philosopher posters were a vitamin, a novelty, a nice to have that nobody actually needed. But Cooper's automated sales proposal tool? That was a painkiller. It solved an immediate, expensive, and deeply annoying problem. Businesses will always pay for painkillers. They rarely pay for vitamins. The tech-first approach almost always creates vitamins. Where do you predict the biggest AI failures will come from in the next year? Tech-first ideas like mine or something else entirely? Drop your prediction in the comments. The people who are actually figuring out how to make money with AI, the people like Cooper Craig and Monk In Young, they start from the complete opposite direction. They don't start with the tool, they start with the pain. Cooper knew the excruciating pain of inefficient sales teams because he'd lived it his whole career. Monk knew the paralyzing fear and uncertainty creative people felt about AI because he saw it in their eyes. They won, not because they were the best coders, but because they understood a human problem better than anyone else. So this is what really works, the one that actually works. Building a business is just solving a problem you care about, and you already have everything you need to start. So tonight, I want you to do something. Open a blank document, just like Cooper did the night he was laid off. Don't write down business ideas. Don't ask what AI can build. Just write the answer to one question. What's a broken, annoying, or expensive process I see every single day? Maybe it's at your job, in your hobby, in your local community. Just list 3 of them. And in the comments below, share one of those problems. Not the solution, just the problem. Let's see what we find. Because once you have a real problem, a human problem, you're 90% of the way there. My name is Pragati Kunwer, and my mission is to show you that you're ready.